Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the EFC 24/7 news update. We're bringing you all the latest news surrounding Everton. The first top story today is that Everton are reportedly interested in the Brighton right back, LAMPTEY, who is out of contract at the end of the season and could be set to move on a free. That came via Sport Witness, but the original source was actually Africa Foot. So an African news outlet, some of which can be a bit more outlandish, but obviously Tariq Lamptey is a Ghanaian international, ended up playing for Ghana, and at one stage was looking a very promising prospect. So, okay, it might not be working out for them at Brighton. Brighton are obviously doing very well and have brought in other players. Again, a bit of a damning indictment of where we're at as a club, that we're looking at their cast-offs. But like I say, they're a very well-run club and they've probably got some great players waiting in the wings in all positions at the moment. So Lamptey, we've seen what he can do in recent years. He's, like I say, he's not really in the first team at the moment, but if his contract is up and we can get him on a good deal, a rumour has it we're going for him in January, where we would pay a small fee, but obviously it'd be a lot smaller than if he had a few more years on his contract. So hopefully this is Everton being smart in the market and Lamptey just turn out to be a decent signing if we do bring him in. But it's one of those. I think it will be worth us considering this one. I think if we can get him on a good deal, low price, or even a free transfer next season. But I think it'd be great if we could get a right back in January. Obviously, it's a problem position for us. It has been for quite some time. We put the poll out on the Toffee Blues Twitter account. That was earlier this week. That was yesterday. We put out a poll asking, would you have Tariq Lamptey at Everton? And 77% said yes. So a pretty resounding yes from the fan base. 12% were undecided and only 9% said no to signing him. So that tells you how desperate we are really for a right back, if anything. But he's a decent player, and I personally wouldn't mind signing him. I think it'd be a smart signing, and let's be honest, regardless of how good he is, he's definitely an upgrade on what we have right now. And if we can get him for a good price, then let's definitely go for it. Next story, of course, it's back. It's the Gareth BRANTHWAITE nonsense, potential move to Manchester United. Apparently, Sammy Mockbell from the Daily Mail, who is a bit hit and miss, to be honest. He comes out with, he gets some right, he gets some wrong. I think more wrong than right, to be honest. So he's saying that Man United are monitoring Gareth BRANTHWAITE's position. Saying that it's he says that Everton can't afford to offer BRANTHWAITE a new contract. Obviously, that's if the takeover doesn't happen. If it does, I presume we will be able to offer him one. It's just whether he'd sign it. And obviously, it's also taking into account the fact that he wasn't in starting 11 for the last game, and Michael Keane's been getting the nod ahead of him recently, saying that could potentially push him more towards the exit door. But this is all hearsay. It's all what ifs. There's 2 months to go till January, so I don't doubt that BRANTHWAITE's a superior defender to Michael Keane and will get his place back in the next few weeks. Obviously, we had a poor result on Saturday, so I think we may well revert to Tarkowski and BRANTHWAITE in defence, and BRANTHWAITE will get the game time he's looking for, that's for sure. But with regards to the takeover, that we'll see what happens on that front. Hopefully, it does end up happening, and it's not too long until it happens. But I think the only thing is that whether we get him to sign a contract or not, he may well still go, but I don't think it's as cut and dry as Sammy Mockbell's making it out to be. It's a very overly anti-Everton negative article, as usual, from the Daily Mail, and we should take that firmly with a pinch of salt. Next one, TalkSport, again, pinch of salt, but they're saying that Sean Dyche could be sacked if Everton don't beat West Ham this weekend. Jury's very much out on Sean Dyche, of course. I've been a big supporter of Sean Dyche, but I'll admit that I've been a little bit restless myself with some of the performances recently, even when we have got the results, there's been some cracks that we've been papering over. Southampton was really disappointing, of course, last week, but I still think it's a bit soon to maybe sack him if the West Ham game doesn't go the way we want it to, unless it's a really shocking performance and we get absolutely leathered. I don't think he's in too much danger just yet. If the takeover that I was on about before does happen, then that could really throw everything up in the air in terms of the managerial position. But until that happens, I don't think he'll be sacked himself. And like I say, take that one with a bit of pinch of salt, what with the outlet that it's coming from. So yeah, that's one I think we'll move on from swiftly, and I don't think we'll be seeing Sean Dyche in the job centre this time next week if we don't beat West Ham. Um, I'd take that one with a pinch of salt. Next up, Dwight McNeil is a doubt for the game against West Ham. The injury that I think he picked up in the Fulham game, didn't take part against Southampton. He said it's flared up a bit more. This is according to Joe Thomas from the Echo, so a bit more of a reliable source in this case, saying that there's also potential injuries to Ndiaye and Decore, which again is bad news. We're missing McNeil and Ndiaye. I think that's a real. It's going to cause real problems for against West Ham. Decore's not had the best season, but again, he's an important player, regardless of how well or badly he plays. So the less numbers, the more trouble it's going to cause us. Sean Dyche also confirmed that Jamie Coleman's out with a hamstring injury. Again, adding more fuel to that Tarek Lamptey fire, saying that, as we were saying, the right back position is a problem position. But Ndiaye and Decore are expected to have a favourable outlook, it says, for Saturday's game. So hopefully Ndiaye and Decore will pull through, but Coleman's definitely out. It's likely McNeil will be too. So again, fingers crossed for anyone who pulls through, really, because we need the numbers and we don't need our squad being any more stretched than it already is. And finally, a more positive one. Everton under-21s. Harrison Armstrong has been briefly in the first team at times earlier on this season, been one of the more promising prospects from the under-21s, and he's attracting interest from lower league clubs in January, apparently. Again, just coming courtesy of Joe Thomas in the Echo, so a more reasonable and believable source. And clubs from League One apparently are after him, and even some of the lower Championship sides are looking at potentially taking him on loan in January. So some much needed development for Harrison Armstrong. Still only 17 and certainly one of the most promising players we've seen at Everton for quite some time. Certainly if Championship clubs are looking at him at 17, that's certainly a better prospect than most of our academy players in the last 5 years or so. So fingers crossed that he can get a move to the Championship, even League One, but definitely if he goes to the Championship, I'd really have high hopes for his future at Everton. So yeah, fingers crossed for Harrison Armstrong, and hopefully he can kick on and become a first team player in the future. Yeah, that's we'll leave it at that anyway. That's all of the news from today. If you let us know your opinions on stories that we've covered here, get your comments coming in. Give this video a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in on the Toffee Blues.